Okay. So, hello, who is here? Today the topic is how we learn English. So first of all, type in the chat your age, and so I know better. Дякую. And I know better which experience you have in learning English, and whether you and which strategy do we need to use to learn English better. So depending on the age, there are different ways to learn English. First of all, for me, from my experience of learning English and teaching it, we can uh, we can differentiate between grammar and our vocabulary. So grammar we use using different stages of learning the grammar, from the present simple tense to perfect, continuous, present perfect, continuous, gerund, infinitive, and etc. So for that, we need to use to learn grammar separately. But the even more complicated topic is vocabulary, because sometimes the way native speakers pronounce something, or the way they speak English, and American people, the native speakers, is much more different from what we learn. So okay, so great. First of all, you can share in chat. First of all, I like to develop my English vocabulary in the different ways. First of all, these are boring but necessary books combine combine the grammar and the text to understand, with the column of unknown words, which you can first develop and translate with your teacher, and then to understand the text better, to translate it. And during learning of the certain topics, you can also learn the grammar and enhance your knowledge in grammar to make the topics more complicated day by day, from present simple to gerund, and to infinitive to phrasal verbs. We cannot cover everything in one 30-minute video, but as for me, phrasal verbs are very important as well, because there are around maybe few hundreds of phrasal verbs, but these phrasal verbs make your English much richer and more interesting, and you can express much more things that you never expressed before, because you didn't know these words. So I would suggest number one, phrasal verbs. Just you can ask your teacher while you are having the lesson with your teacher, what is the meaning of what is the meaning of that phrasal verbs you used, and the teacher would explain it and write down to you in the chat. And but it's much more important just to do it by yourself. You can type in Google the phrasal verbs list, or there is also one good book, Grammar Way 4. And this book, you can find it on on the internet, and it also has a lot of phrasal verbs that you can use every day. It does not have too complicated and very difficult to comprehend grammar, but it's a very nice way to learn English as well. So phrasal verbs and grammar way. Also, you can type in chat which movies you like to watch. Okay, so the new people who came to our chat, you can tell me what's your name, what your name is, and your age. So today, for those who just came, today the lesson's topic is English, English and the ways to learn it, and the ways to learn it. Sorry, today's, let me learn it. Okay, so who is here? You can type your name and age. Great. So, also, of course, it's hard to comprehend the movies right away before the proper learning of English. So, there is nothing wrong if you don't understand all the movie completely, all the pronunciation of the native speakers, because sometimes Americans, they join two words, and it makes the one sound. For example, why don't you find that out? Find that out. So two sounds make one sound, and that is also complicated to understand. So we need to combine to first to use subtitles. There is nothing wrong with it, and then you will be able to understand how native speakers speak much better. So why don't you type in the chat who you are and what's your age? That is an important topic to generalize. The reason why I chose this topic today is just because, of course, we like to explain to discuss food and drinks and the culture, and the differences in culture between nations and countries, and the relationships and the friendship and goals. But it's also important to generalize our knowledge in English. So I really wanted to share a few tips of on learning English today. The last, it may sound quite, it may sound quite boring a bit, but really I enjoy reading the classical books. In English, for example, the last book I read was Vanity Fair. Uh, of English England in 19th century. It was a nice book about the Victorian age. You know, in 19th century there were no wars in Britain. There were plenty of wars, you know, in France, between the whole Europe, but because Britain is an island, it was quite, it was quite safe to live in England in 19th century. And there were because of different inventions that took place, steam machine, steam engine, because of the trade, because of the ships, because of the textile industry, because of the steel manufacturing developments. It was really for some people in England to be very comfortable and nice to live. So it's really nice book about the Vanity Fair book. It contains a lot of sophisticated Vanity Fair book. uh, it's really it explains in an interesting way the relationship between men and women in England in that century. But also there are much more books, you know, which have much simpler vocabulary, like about psychology, even about relationships, about self development, about about even technical books are much more easier to develop your English. And of course talking to people, speaking to other friends around the world is much more productive in developing your English vocabulary. So and listening, by the way, to music. There was one way which, I was not that focused and boring when I was teenager and even in my early 20s. Now I'm 29, but when I was a teenager, I learned English from such kind of songs, popular music. But this is the also nice way to learn real life slang, like English. So what else? Okay, so what else? So as I told you, some new people joined our discussion today. So I differentiate between the grammar and vocabulary in learning the English language, the English language. So by the way, we need to notice that we use the article there before American, Spanish, etc., before the names of nationalities and the languages. So if you say the English language, so no. Okay. Also, one more important thing that I should not leave it to the last minutes of our video live stream are idioms. You know, as an English teacher, it's very important for me not only to learn the grammar or constantly develop my knowledge in learning the way the sophisticated words which are used in English, or pronunciation, or the correct intonation, or how the Americans they join a few words together to understand the phrases better in the videos which I watch. But also there is important thing idioms. Of course, even in the native language, we do not use idioms all the time, and we may not even know the meaning of all of them, but some idioms they are used quite frequently, and it's also important to know all of them. For example, I'm all the ears. I'm listening to you very attentively. Okay. Okay. The next nice idiom is to be like a fish in the water, means to know the topic very well, to be well. So you can tell me whether you know in your own language, in Japanese, such an idioms, and you can explain me their meaning. Okay, and also it's necessary to keep motivation. One important part of any process, whether we discuss sports or business or just professional development, learning new things, learning languages. The very important thing is motivation. We should not lose our motivation. We need to keep focused. And if something is causing you procrastination, do you know the word procrastination? So if you feel less motivated, if you want to dive into Instagram or YouTube the whole day, if you want to do things which do not bring you any results, just you want them to cope with the stress you feel or with the anxiety you feel, then in that case you need just first of all to understand what makes you feel that way. What made you, maybe you felt overly stressed, overly overloaded with tasks. In that case it would be nice to listen to your needs of your body and not to and your mind, and not to overload yourself with tasks, and be realistic. Not be realistic, it does not mean that we need to have self doubts about our abilities to achieve our goals, but we need to allocate tasks and wisely, and to have rest when we need to have it. So, and we need to analyze the reasons which cause us to feel procrastination, and to also analyze our thoughts which cause us bad emotions. For example, also we have a lot of different kind of intuitions, when you feel that your colleague, you think my colleague hates me, but this is only your thought, which does not have anything in common with the reality. You need to stop for a moment. It just, instead of, it's very nice to attend psychologists and to analyze your feelings, your emotions, your behavior, your deeds that you've done. But also you can save just every day to have a habit to reanalyze your thoughts, which may be wrong, regarding people, regarding yourself. You may think that, oh, there is some ads will run shortly. Okay. So you may think that, oh, she doesn't like me, or I'm not that smart, or I'm not that hardworking. You need to think why you think so, and to stop for a moment and to analyze this thought. And then, so this is very important. This is some psychological. So one ad will run shortly in 30 minutes, 30 seconds, excuse me. So, yeah, as I said, it's very important to set the goals, but also we need to analyze our psychological moments. Okay. Okay. Just add some tips. Okay. So, um,
Не знаю. Да, не поняла. Время. Yes. Как я знаю? Потому что да, да, а мы знал, что ну, если посмотрим. Посмотрим, если кто-то, она очень
Okay.
сейчас я это твою список. Вы как знаете, по Канаде. А, что такое? Машина, как можно ставить лайк? Там такой вампир, стоит. Это я не знаю, если новое процедуру представить. Если ты дольше, ну, есть заканчивание, как он разговаривает. Это даже быстрее. Видишь как? Он начал чуть больше, он сказал, нет, забери фон, вот, я не ну, это звонок, правильно, не конспиратива. Все деньги, ты видишь, и там не знаю, да, вообще, ничего нет.
Okay, guys, so I hope you enjoyed today's stream and you learned some new ways how to develop your knowledge of English and how to communicate better, how to understand movies, how to stay motivated because it's very important thing in learning any language, in accomplishing any goal, in doing any sports, in doing any business. So I would say that I'm an English teacher, but also I've had other professions. I've been working for a renewable energy company for 8 years, and all these things, self-developing skills from the books that we read help to keep motivated and to keep working. Also, in learning any musical instruments, in achieving any goals regarding your body shape, regarding your um, working goals, regarding your piano skills, in anything, in learning any language. So, wish you to have a good weekend and see you next time. Bye.